Hello, my name is Yuki. I don't know how to explain myself as I can't use correct English, but I'll try my best. In Yumi, 3 English words are all that is needed in Japan, as I told you the extreme example of. Here's a little more in-depth explanation. 3 characters are used in the Japanese language: kanji, hiragana, and katakana. These katakana are basically the characters that are used when English is converted into Japanese. These katakana are commonly referred to as Japanese English. Of course, the pronunciation is also Japanese, so when English speakers listen to katakana English, the pronunciation will be difficult to understand, but since it is commonly used in Japan, Japanese people can understand the words surprisingly well. If you are a native speaker, you won't be able to hear the words, so try to say them slowly and carefully. And some words that the Japanese think of as English are coined in Japan, so it's better to learn them as Japanese than to struggle to understand them. In Japanese, words are spoken in the order of when, who, where, and what you did. It's commonly referred to as subject and predicate. To elaborate on this would be an ordinary Japanese language class, so we'll make it even simpler. You won't learn proper Japanese here. We are trying to explain conversations that can be understood somehow. If you are trying to learn Japanese, do not learn it here. Furthermore, I'm not going to explain Japanese to you. I am going to explain how to speak in English words. Now let's break down the when, who, where, and what from earlier. The word when is used only for tomorrow and yesterday. The Japanese only know that much. For example, when describing 3 days from now, I will fold 3 fingers in sequence. At that time, bend your fingers and at the same time say the words tomorrow, tomorrow, and tomorrow 3 times. This makes it tomorrow x 3 and 3 days later. The same is true for 3 days ago, yesterday, yesterday, and yesterday. At this point, be sure to show a crooked finger gesture. The word who usually doesn't need to be used. For I and you, just point. If the word friend applies to the who part, just say friend and you'll be fine. Again, it's better to avoid using unnecessary words to convey the message. For example, good friends won't convey the message. In this day and age, where it's easy to show a map or other information because we have smartphones. For example, if you are in Tokyo, you can say Tokyo. If it's a coffee shop, just say cafe. Again, Tokyo, the big city, and a nice cafe won't be understood by the Japanese. If we're a sushi restaurant or coffee shop, then what is not necessary, because a sushi restaurant or coffee shop is a place to eat, and what is eating. But if you put Tokyo or the sea in where, you need what's up. This is because it becomes what to do in Tokyo or what to do at the sea. Now it's a little harder. I'll make it even easier. This means that only the subject word will convey the message. The order in which the words are arranged is in accordance with the action. For example, tomorrow I want to go to Tokyo, eat sushi, and then take the Shinkansen to Nagano Prefecture for a hot spring. This content can be arranged in a word order according to the action: tomorrow, Tokyo, sushi, Shinkansen, Nagano, hot spring. And most Japanese can understand the content if you tell them. In other words, it is easier for the Japanese to understand you if you only convey the subject word and not any extra predicate words. However, you need to be flexible and understand the language of the Japanese, as they will try to use the same words to communicate with you. If a Japanese person starts to say a strange word, think that he or she is speaking in order according to his or her behavior and try to understand it. Japanese, tomorrow, what, food. You, tempura. Japanese, okay. This conversation. The Japanese will ask you, what do you want to eat tomorrow? You want to eat tempura. Japanese, I understand. It becomes. For Japanese, I, my, and me all mean the same thing. Be aware that if a word is pronounced differently, such as in the plural form, you won't even know the subject of the word. However, the Japanese in this context will be older people and Japanese from areas that are not accustomed to foreigners. Today's young people and office workers in Japan are quite English speaking, so try to adapt your language skills to those of the Japanese. In case you end up talking to the site's administrator, you will be speaking only English words for sure. Thank you for watching.